Hi, my name is Katie Gonzalez, and my topic today is the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials took place in Massachusetts during 1692 and 1693. In 1689, Mary and William, who were English rulers, engaged in a war with France. The war sent several refugees into the county of Essex, and mostly the Salem village, which is located in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Since the population in Salem had been increasing, the tension for resources also became greater. Eventually, the wealthy families that had been given the right to the wealth on the land of the port of Salem and the people who depended on agriculture became frustrated, and they began to argue a lot. Along with this came the dispute about the Reverend Samuel Parris. Samuel Parris was a highly despised man by the townspeople because of his cold ways and his greedy attitude towards others. The villagers began to believe that all the dispute that was going on during this period was done by the works of the devil. So, around 200 people were accused from practicing witchcraft, also known as the devil's magic, and around 20 people were killed. Centuries ago, many religions believed that the devil could give certain people, also known as witches, the powers that would allow them to harm other people. So because the witches were harming other people, they were also ensuring their loyalty to the devil. Due to this, a witchcraft craze rush went on throughout Europe between the 1300s to the end of the 1600s. Tens of thousands of women who were accused of being witches were put to death. The Salem witch trials began during the spring of 1692, after a group of young girls in Salem Village, Massachusetts, claimed to be possessed by the devil. They also accused several local women of witchcraft. The first woman convicted of witchcraft was Bridget Bishop, and she was hung later that June. 5 more people were hung in July, 5 more people in August, 8 more people in September, and 7 other accused witches were killed in jail. Over the next few months, men, women, and children were accused. Belief in the supernatural, and specifically in the devil's practice of giving certain humans the power to harm other people in return to their loyalty, became the main thought going on around the town's people's head. In January 1692, 9-year-old Elizabeth Parris and 11-year-old Abigail William, who was also the daughter and niece of Samuel Parris, minister of the Salem village, which was a despised man. The girls began having fits, violent contortions, and uncontrollable outbursts of screaming. So because all of this was going on and it wasn't normal for a girl to be going through these stages and to be having these outbursts and to be acting this way, it was strange. So the parents wanted to take them to a doctor to find out what was going on, if they were if there was something medically wrong with them, if they were sick, or if there was anything that they could do to help them. So a local doctor named William Griggs diagnosed the girls with bewitchment. Other girls began showing the similar symptoms, and because of this, doctors began to believe that if you were showing any strange behaviors, then you were a witch. Some other women that were accused of being witches was Anne Putman Jr., Mercy Lewis, Elizabeth Hubbard, Mary Walcott, and Mary Warren. In late February, arrest warrants were issued out for Tituba and 2 other women, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. 3 accused witches were brought before magistrators Jonathan Corwin and John Hathorne. So these 2 men questioned the accusers about their witchcraft. The accusers appeared in the grand display of spasms, contortions, screaming, and writhing, which is also making twisting, squirming, or movements of the body that you wouldn't normally do when you're just sitting there. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne denied their guilt. They said that they had not been doing witchcraft and they were not witches. However, Tituba confessed, and she said that she was a witch. She was seeking refuge from certain convictions, so the death penalty, she did not want to get that, so she thought, well, if I tell them that I am a witch instead of lying, then maybe I won't face the death penalty like these two other women might. So, she also said that there were other witches acting alongside her. So she was also saying that there was other women working with her so they could work for the devil, and they were working against the Puritans, which were the villagers. Hysteria spread through the community and into the rest of Massachusetts, and more others were accused of being witches, including Mary Corey and Rebecca Nurse. Although both were highly profound members of the church and community, so everyone was like, how are they witches if they're really good members of the church? In 1692 passed, and 1693 began, and the hysteria began to lose steam. The governor of the colony heard that his wife was accused of witchcraft, and he ordered an end to the trials. But by then, 20 people and 2 dogs had already been executed. One person was executed to death under a pile of stones because he was not wanting to testify to Salem, to the Salem trials. The trials continued being a pressing matter up until 1693, when May Phipps had released all accused witches. In January 1697, Massachusetts General Court made a day of fasting due to the tragedy of the Salem witch trials. Later on, the court deemed the trials unlawful, and Samuel Sewall publicly announced an apology for the effects he had in the trial. He apologized for everything he had did to the women, to the men, to the children that were accused, because there was no proof that they were actually committing a crime or that they were actually doing any witchcraft. So, the painful legacy in which was caused by the Salem witch trials lasted until the 20th century. It's still a highly talked about topic, and people still want to know what happened, how it started, and basically in the end there was really no proof that the women or that the men that were accused had to be convicted, because there was no proof at all that they had been committing any crime or that they had been showing or doing any witchcraft among the town.